Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Bully Dog GT Platinum Tuner for 1999 to 2014 5.3 liter Silverado and Sierra 1500s. Make the most out of your Vortec 5.3 with the Bully Dog GT Platinum here. This is a preloaded tuner that's going to help you extract more power and torque out of your truck and also give you the flexibility to adjust other parameters to improve the driving experience, and it does a lot for a really reasonable price. Getting right to it, let's talk dyno numbers. Bully Dog claims about 23 horsepower and 30 pound-feet of torque in peak gains. We ran our 2009 Silverado 1500 in stock form on 93 octane on the dyno. We did this in third gear. Now I know that's not exactly 1-to-1, but we did it so we wouldn't run into the speed limiter without revving out the engine. So in third gear, we were able to get a nice clean pull all the way up to redline. And again, in stock form on 93 octane, our truck put down 260 horsepower at 5,300 RPM and 283 pound-feet of torque at 4,300 RPM. Now, after getting the tune loaded up and having the unit installed, we saw some serious improvements. We got 281 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and 333 pound-feet of torque at 3,800 RPM, giving us peak gains of 20 horsepower and 50 pound-feet of torque. And both of those numbers, if you note, came in at lower revs than the numbers from our stock run. So not only did we see more power and torque, but we got it to come on earlier, which is really nice to see, and it's going to make an improvement in the driving experience. Now, this is a great little self-contained unit that comes preloaded with a bunch of different tunes that have been street and dyno tested to increase horsepower, torque, and throttle sensitivity. Now, it is worth noting that this one does not support custom tunes, only the ones that come preloaded. But there's more here than just power increases. This little module also gives you the flexibility to change up a bunch of different parameters, such as the speedometer and odometer. You can correct those for larger wheels and tire sizes or a different gear ratio. You can also change the speed limiter and the rev limiter to give you a bit more speed at the top end. It also gives you the ability to adjust transmission shift points on certain trucks as well. Specifically the newer ones. Our older one didn't allow us to make that change, but you can set up different temperature warnings for the transmission and coolant temps, as well as some other functions such as disabling traction control if your truck came so equipped. Now, this is also going to read and clear diagnostic trouble codes, so if you happen to get a pesky check engine light somewhere out on the road, this is going to allow you to read and clear the code away. But beyond all of that though, the GT Platinum is also designed to be mounted up on the dash and used for data monitoring. So this is going to display a bunch of different things such as engine RPM, intake air temperature, trans temp, gear position, and more. You can customize the display to show exactly what you want. And it also has a little eco coach in there too, so if you're trying to maximize your miles per gallon, you can set up alerts and different screens for that too. It's a pretty handy little thing, and since the display is rather small, it's unobtrusive when you've got it mounted up, makes it easy to reference while you're driving along. Now, the unit itself is a pretty straightforward setup with a series of touch-sensitive buttons on each side. You've got two here that basically scroll up and down, and these 5 on the side that allow you to make different selections. This is a 3.5 by 2.25 inch display, and it makes things easy to read at a glance. You can also change up the color of the screen too, so if you want something that's a little bit easier on the eyes, you've got a bunch of different options in there as well, and it's pretty straightforward and easy to use. This also comes with everything you need to get it fired up and ready to go, including the windshield mount, which I've got used as a nice little handy stand here, and all the cables. Now, this is going to mount up using an HDMI cable, plug into this little box, and that plugs into your OBD2 port. Now, Bully Dog does give you the option to mount this up permanently and have it on a keyed switch. So you can run this little wire, plug it into the box, and what it's going to do is when you turn the key off and on, it'll fire up the unit and turn it off with the key, so you don't have to worry about unplugging anything. And again, it comes with everything you need. There's a little micro SD card reader here too. You can pop the micro SD card out, put it in the computer, and get everything nice and updated too. Plus, the Bully Dog software is free to download. Pricing comes in at about $525, and that puts it about in the middle of the pack when it comes to tuners. And for the fact that it comes pretty much set to go right out of the box with preloaded tunes and comes as a monitor as well, I'd call this one a pretty good value for your money. Installation is going to get a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and this should only take you about 30 minutes to get it set up and working. You're just going to end up spending a lot more time playing around with the settings. Now, certain trucks like ours here, you'll see in the next part of the video, might take a little bit longer. We had to do a bunch of key cycles just to get things to communicate properly. It's just a function of an older vehicle, so if yours takes a little time, just be patient, you will get through it. Not much more we can talk about here on the table, so with that, let's head on over into the truck and we'll show you how to get this one hooked up. Hey everybody, today we're gonna be installing this BullyDog GT Platinum on our 2009 Silverado 1500 with the 5.3 liter V8. We got a couple of pieces here that we're gonna install. This is pretty much a plug and play operation to get this little unit fired up. We got an HDMI cable that we're gonna plug into the back of this, and we've got a little control box that plugs into our OBD2 port. Plus, we have our little windshield mount that we're gonna mount up so you can see what this looks like mounted up in the truck. Now, BullyDog does give a way to mount this in so it'll just turn on with the key. We're not gonna do that today. We're just gonna plug it in and show you what it looks like and get the tune loaded up onto this truck. So with that, let's jump on into it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is plug in our little control box into the OBD2 port underneath the dash. So this end is just gonna plug right into the OBD2 port like that. Make sure it clicks into place. Then on our control box here, you'll see there's a little switch that says key and bat. We're gonna switch this over to bat because we're gonna run this on battery power instead of having it keyed and wired into the fuse box. Once we've got that done, we're gonna take one end of our HDMI cable and just plug it into this port right here. Then we can set this aside and go on up to the unit. All right, now that we've got our control module plugged in, it's time to plug this in. First thing we're gonna do is use the windshield mount. This just slides in, clicks into the back here. We're gonna use this, mount it up on our windshield so you have a nice stable platform to look at this through. Then the more important part, we're gonna take the HDMI cable, plug it right into the back, just like that, and then the thing's gonna boot up. So we're gonna get this mounted in a nice place for you, and then we'll show you how to go through the menu and get the truck tuned. All right, now that we've got this plugged in and mounted up for you, we're gonna go ahead, turn the key to the on position, just so that the truck is powered up but not running. First thing we're gonna have to do is select the vehicle. So again, we've got a 2009 Chevy Silverado 1500. So I'm gonna select Chevrolet, gonna scroll down until I see Silverado. Now these buttons on the side, these are all kind of touch sensitive buttons. You've got the 5 on the left, 2 on the right, usually to scroll, and then these are gonna be your selections. So again, we'll select Silverado. Our truck has the 5.3 liter Vortec, so we're gonna select that option. And our truck again is a 2009, so you're gonna pick from the year range here. So we're gonna hit this second one. Make sure that that is correct. It'll give you all the information. Over on the top right, we're gonna hit yes. And it's gonna go ahead and load up. This kind of resets the unit. Makes kind of a funky noise, don't worry about it. That is totally normal. As this boots up, just gives you a warning here, and you'll see down here what truck we've got it on. Now this is gonna bring you to the main screen here. There's a bunch of different options. We're gonna go through those a little bit later. The first thing we're gonna do is get the tune loaded onto this truck. So in order to do that, we have to go into the menu, so hitting this top left button here. And then you're gonna select Install Download. It'll ask you to verify that this is the correct vehicle. Hit yes. Gonna ask you if you're the owner of the vehicle, basically an end user license agreement. Just gonna scroll down for it. Make sure you read this, of course. We've done a bunch of these, so we're just gonna scroll right on through. All right, get to the bottom, it's gonna ask you to agree. Now this is very important too. Make sure that your battery is charged up because you're gonna have to leave the vehicle on like it is right now without it running, so the battery's not gonna be charging. It's gonna reset all the systems, and this does take a little bit of time. So make sure that everything is good here before you go ahead and do this. Just gonna ask you to scroll down. We're gonna hit continue because we're satisfied with the battery condition. That's gonna do another loading screen. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is turn the key to the off position as instructed here. And then we turn the key to the run position. So again, this truck, it's 2 clicks. It's gonna communicate. Turn the key off again. Gonna wait. Basically, you're just following the instructions on the screen here. Back to the run position.
typical for GM vehicles, there is a process you need to go through with cycling the key and whatnot. Now, it is important to note too, before you start this process, make sure the radio is off. You don't have anything extraneous on in the vehicle. Again, to help from discharging the battery and just to make sure that this is not going to mess up anything else. All right, now that we've gone through our key cycles and it's communicated with the vehicle, it's going to go ahead and read through the engine computer stuff. This is probably the part of the process that's going to take the longest, so just have a little bit of patience here. Let it go through. Make sure you don't unplug or mess with anything else, and just let it do its thing until it gets to the next screen. Okay, now we get a complete screen here. Again, don't touch anything. This is going to be saving your stock engine file, so if you do need to reset the truck to stock, you can do that with this as well. So this is very important. Make sure you don't touch anything. You might get some warning lights on the dashboard. Things might go a little haywire. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it later. All right, now that's done. Stock file is saved. We're going to turn the key to the off position as instructed. Give those 15 seconds. All right, now we're turning it back to the run position. Just doing a check here. So now we get to the fun part where we get to actually select the tune. Now our truck runs 93 octane, so we can choose here from stock tune, regular, or premium. Since we're going premium, we got 93 octane here, that's what we're gonna pick. So make sure that's selected, hit enter up at the top. Next thing it's gonna ask you is if you want to adjust your speed limiter. You can press yes to select your own or no to use stock values. We're gonna leave our truck otherwise stock. We're just doing the ECU tune for today, but we will show you how to change some of the other settings in here. So for our purposes today, I'm gonna hit no. Now this is the active fuel management setting. So this is the cylinder deactivation system on these trucks. Gives you the option right here to leave it enabled, as you see selected here, or you can disable it. Again, for our purposes, we're not gonna mess with anything else today, so I'm gonna leave it as enabled and hit enter. Moving on to the next screen, this is tire size adjustment. So again, this is giving you all the options to do these things that you would wanna do pretty much right here as you load everything up. You can adjust this stuff later too if you want. In our case, this truck is going to be running stock tires for our purposes on the dyno pull today. So again, we're not going to adjust it. So I'm going to hit no, but if you hit yes, you'll be able to adjust for a different size tire, and that'll get your speedometer and odometer corrected for you. Same deal here. If you've changed the gear ratio, if you've re-geared your truck because you put bigger wheels and tires on it, this is really handy because you can do this right here too. Again, our truck is running the stock axle ratio and we're running on stock wheels and tires, so we're going to hit no. And now this is going to go ahead and build the file for us. Once it does that, it's going to go ahead and start getting things loaded onto the truck. Again, don't touch anything. This is really important. So now this is downloading the new tune that we just selected into the ECU of the truck. Things might start to go a little crazy on the dashboard, as is typical with these sorts of things, so don't worry about it as it goes through. It'll all come out in the wash later. I did go ahead and turn off the automatic lights just to save some battery power here for us. All right, start everything, go back, and it's asking us to turn key off. Give it a moment to set itself up. Turn the key on, and there we go. Our download is done. Now we can just go ahead and hit continue up here. And the unit's gonna reset itself and bring us back to the main menu where we can show you some of the other cool stuff that this can do. All right, so now we're back at our main screen and you can see there's a bunch of different things up here that you can look at. And you can change all of this stuff around. So on the left-hand side here, again, we have these touch buttons. If you select that first one here, that's gonna show you, this one is again showing you your speed. It'll show you a nice little graph there. Go down RPM, load, and coolant temperature sensor. Now this one also brings up a bunch of different things. This is your driving coach over here too. You can set economy goals if you want. We'll show you how to do that in a second. So let's dive in to the menu here. So hitting that menu button will bring us to this page. Now, if you want to go to gauge setup, this is going to change all the stuff that we saw on the screen right before us on the main screen here. So gauge 1 will be that one on the top left here. You can change that. You've got a bunch of different choices here. So if you have a pyrometer in your truck, which you really don't use in gas trucks most of the time, but if you have those set up, you can do that here. Speed, boost if you're going turbo, RPMs, coolant, throttle position. I'm going to put on intake air temp because I think that's kind of interesting and something we might want to see on the dyno. So once I have that, I can go down to the second one, same kind of deal here. We can scroll through the different options. There's barometer, battery, oil temperature, that's not something we have shown up on here. So I'm going to select that for the second one. Third one, same deal. You've got transmission temperature, timing, mass airflow sensor, fuel economy, if that's something you're concerned about, fuel flow, your air to fuel ratio. So we're gonna put the air fuel ratio on that one. See what that looks like. And then down here again, same deal with the fourth one. I'm just gonna pick something else here that we have. Let's do transmission temperature because that's not a gauge we have since this is a 1500. So once we've got that set up, we can go back. You go all the way back to the main menu. And you can see this is all the different stuff. So our intake air temp sensor right now is reading 86 degrees because the truck was running recently. Same deal with the oil temp. There's our air fuel ratio and our transmission temperature. And if you select any of these, it'll show you larger in the graph here in the center, which pretty cool. Going back into that menu, there's a bunch of other stuff that you can do. There's user options here where you can adjust like the backlight, if you want it a little bit more dim. If you want to change the background theme, they got a bunch of different ones here. I don't know, that one's kind of cool. We're gonna leave it right where it was before, and you can change one for night as well. So you can see, and if you do hold this button down here on the right in the main menu, it will change it from day to night automatically. So going back, there's animation preferences. If you want that wave effect on, which we don't need that on. And these are also different sensor settings. So if you add additional sensors to your truck, aside from what's already there from the factory, you can go ahead and input those things as well. Again, we don't have any of those, so we're just gonna move on to the next thing. Change units, you can reset back to your system default. And there's some other cool stuff that we can do in here as well. So if we scroll down, we see a bunch of different options. Performance testing, this is gonna give you the option to do like 0 to 60 tests, quarter miles, things like that. Of course, there's a disclaimer here, be safe, don't do this on public roads. Make sure it's in a safe place off of a public road if you're gonna do it. It'll ask you to agree to it before you go there, and you can see the different performance tests that you can do. So if your vehicle is gonna read speed, if you wanna do that, this will automatically start it. You can do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, which is 0 to 60, and you can see all your performance test results. Now, these are absolutely not accurate. We have not run this truck at all before. And you can save your data, you can see your fastest times, and you can change some settings in there as well. Next up on our menu, we have the driving coach, which is something I was talking about earlier. So if you want to set, say, a fuel economy goal, if you're trying to maximize your fuel economy, you can do that here. So you can set a different goal for yourself. I don't know, you can say 25. It's a big old V8, we're probably not gonna hit that, but you can change it up or down here with the arrows. We're gonna leave that be. You can reset your average fuel economy if you wanna get a more accurate reading for what you're doing right now. And you can adjust the accelerator sensitivity here. So this is kind of functioning like a throttle controller, or if you want something that's a little less sensitive, you can hit low, medium, or high. We're gonna leave it in medium because we're going for power today, and we wanna see what this thing's gonna make on the dyno. And you can change the sound if you wanna have that on there for the alerts and such. Going back to the menu, there's a few other things that we wanna demonstrate too. You have vehicle settings, so if you wanna change different things, like if you wanna set the vehicle weight so you get a more accurate representation for your fuel economy, you can do that. You can set different warning levels for things too. So say for your engine coolant temp or transmission temp, because again, we don't have a transmission temperature gauge on here, you can set those up as well. You can turn it on and it'll allow you to set the different temperature that you want it to go off at, just so you are aware. We're gonna leave that off. We're gonna head on back here. And there's that economy display. If you wanna adjust that as well, you can do that right here. Going back, there's a few other things we want to touch on as well. Special functions, this one doesn't have it. This is where this might be applicable to a different truck, but this one doesn't have anything additional that we can change other than the stuff we've already covered. But the thing I do want to talk about is the diagnostics function. So by selecting diagnostics here on the left, this is going to read and clear engine trouble codes. So right now it's just reading through. And as you can see, we've got no check engine lights, we've got no codes on the truck, which is great news. But if you wanted to clear them, you can do that here. If you want to show them, again, it's going to show us nothing, but you'll be able to read them and it'll break them out with the P code for you. If you want to save them too, you can. And going back, we got a couple other things. Now this is showing settings. This is going to show you all the updates. It will show you the software update, the serial number for the device, whether it's installed and what it's applied to. So again, this is married to this truck now, and it's for 07.5 14 new body GM trucks. So these are the GMT 900 and K2XX platform trucks. Again, just going to go down and give you all the information. And this will show you what we've set up for the tune as well. So we've got the octane, all the other stuff here that we really didn't change, including that 98 mile-an-hour speed limiter. Those of you who know GM trucks, you know what that feels like. And our stock tire size, which is a 31-inch. Again, we don't have any alerts or anything like that set up for these things. So we're just going to go back here. And there's a few more things too. Again, vehicle info, that'll just give you some more information from the vehicle. And then if you want to uninstall the software, if you want to go back to stock and all that, you can do that here. And if you want to update the GT software, you can do that as well. This is going to have to be plugged in. There's also a micro SD card in the back of this, which you can plug in with the supplied dongle that they give you in the box to update the software on this, which I suggest that you do once in a while, just to make sure that everything's up to date, especially if you've left this in the truck and are running it often.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the Bully Dog GT Platinum Tuner, fitting 1999 to 2014 5.3-liter Silverado and Sierra 1500s. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Silverado and Sierra, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.